This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 78 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's topic is sponsored by Equestrian Collections, the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. Enjoy today's tip. I am Glenn the Geek, back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, our guest today is Rick Gore. He's from Rick Gore Horsemanship. Rick is a trainer, a clinician, and an all-around horseman. Rick Gore Horsemanship is about the horse teaching you about yourself. Rick answers questions about horse problems and issues on several websites and writes articles for a few others. And we'll be right back with Rick right after these few words from Equestrian Collections. We've been speaking a whole lot in recent weeks about looking to Equestrian Collections for all of your fall and winter needs. They have all the top brands in winter wear for you and your horse. Well, in addition to winter, believe it or not, it is now November and time to start thinking about holiday gift giving. There's no better place to find those equestrian gift ideas than at Equestrian Collections. They have thousands of choices for all of your gift-giving needs at some fantastic prices. Whether it is for that guy, girl, or equine in your life, you will find it all at equestriancollections.com. And right now, you can get $10 off your next order of $120 or more just by using the coupon code STABLESCOOP at checkout. That's one word, STABLESCOOP, in the coupon code at checkout for $10 off that next order. Get that holiday shopping started early at equestriancollections.com. And now on to today's expert, Rick Gore. Well, hi, Rick, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. We appreciate you coming back. It's always fun to chat with you. We do have a problem, though, in that we usually chat and never get to the tip. But see, that's two old horse guys just talking. That's what happens.
Well, that's all right, though, because you know what? Usually we end up developing another tip in our little tangents that we go off on our conversations anyway.
That's true. That is true. Now, you live in California. What part of California?
Northern part, up by Sacramento, in between Sacramento and San Francisco area, Vacaville, Fairfield area.
Oh, great.
Out by Travis Air Force Base, yeah.
Oh, well, you're not too far, then, from our friends over at Equestrian Life.
No, they're right up there on Woodside. It's very nice place up there, and yeah, I've got up there a couple times.
Now, where you're at in California, is it dry or is it lush? Is it something in between?
Well, you know, when it rains, it gets nice and green, but now it tends to be pretty dry. And you know, I like Ronald Reagan's. I'll quote on that. I remember he was driving by a field one time. One of the Secret Service guys said to him, "said Man, look how brown and dry that field looks." And he looked at him and said, "That's not brown." He goes, "That's golden." And you know, so you look across California, and it's not really dry. You get that golden look to where it's really beautiful up here. So it gets green in the winter there in the rain time, and then in the summertime it gets nice and golden. So,
all right. And what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about gaits. And when I see a lot of times that people want to protect their horse in numerous areas, not just around gaits, but just every time they handle a horse, you'll see a lot of people wanting to protect their horse from everything that might scare it or might touch it, or he doesn't like the wind, or he doesn't like this, so let's walk this way, or the birds are over there by the bush, so I'm going to walk this way to avoid that. And that's a big mistake, I think, when you're trying to grow and develop your horse and get him used to what he's going to have to deal with at some point in his life. So what I see with gaits is people tend to protect their horse around a gate. You know, they go through a gate and they want to make sure the gate's nice and open. They don't want to touch the horse. They hold the gate with one hand. They hold the horse with the other hand. They move the horse through. They get him clear. Then they close the gate and make sure the gate never touches the horse. And, you know, I think what you do is you set the horse up to fail, because now when a gate touches him accidentally, and it's going to happen, either when you go through a gate or one day you're not paying attention, or the wind's going to get it, or another horse is going to take it out of your hand, or your phone's going to ring and you're going to answer it, and the gate's going to hit your horse. And he's never happened before, and next thing you know, you got a wreck, and the horse ends up getting hurt, or you get, rope burn in your hand from trying to hang on to him. So my thing on gates is when you get a horse around a gate, you want that gate to be able to rub against him. You want him to be able to push against it. You want to be able to put it against him, put a little pressure, and make him yield to that gate. Let him know that gate's not going to hurt him. It's not the bad thing. And if it touches them, it's going to be totally normal because it's touched them every time you take him in and out of the gate. Versus the other way, if it's never touched them, when it does touch them, it's going to be odd, new, and it's going to scare them, and then you're going to end up with a wreck. So, I always tell people when you go through these gates, I like my horses to push a gate when I tell them to push, so I usually just open a little bit and say push, and they'll put their nose and they'll push it open and they'll open it because that helps open gates when I'm riding them. So I use it as a training tool, and when I go through a gate, I tell them to push, they push the gate open. Of course, the other side is you want all your gates to your pastures always opening inward only and not outward. So if they do left unlocked, the horse can't push it open. And most horses don't pull a gate to open it. If they get out, it's because the gate swung out and they were able to push or lean on it and it opened. So if you make all your gates to secure and lock your horses up to where they only open inward, if you ever leave a gate unlocked or it becomes unlocked or the snap breaks, the horse leans against it, it's not going to open outward. He's not going to learn to get away and push through it. And that'll help keep your horses safe by keeping them where you want them to.
Well, that's great. The other thing I wanted to ask you about this, we were always taught when you are leading a horse into the field that you always turn them around towards you, and you're standing towards the gate. You always turn them around towards you before you take off the halter. Is that something you ascribe to, or do you feel differently about that? Or
Well, I think that's a good for a basic or a child or somebody that doesn't really understand a horse. I always say I can tell if a person understands a horse by watching them lead it to the pasture and let it loose. And the things I look for is how they're walking. Are they keeping their arm away? Are they keeping the horse away? Are they paying attention to the horse? Are they walking together? Are they holding the lead rope right by the neck halter? Are they trying to control them? Or they got the rope wrapped around their hand? Or if they've done a lot of different things, I can just tell by watching a person lead a horse normally if they understand and they have a relationship with that horse. And if I see somebody turn the horse around and let them loose, what I see is a person that was told that in the beginning stages because it was safe. And if you don't have control of your horse and the horse doesn't respect you as a leader, and he knows as soon as you let him loose that I get to run, kick my heels up, and I'm free, he's probably going to accidentally kick you in the head or kick a rock at you or may hurt you. So a lot of young kids or new horse owners are told you can prevent a horse from kicking you and doing that by spinning them around. Well, I think you're kind of treating the symptom there and you're not really fixing the problem. A horse shouldn't be kicking and running off around you. Because if he does it when you run some pasture, it's only going to be a matter of time till he does it when you're standing there, when you're saddling him up, or when you're doing something else. So I don't ever want a horse running by me, and I don't want to make him turn his butt away to stop that, because that's not stopping it. He's still going to buck and run away. I just prevented me from getting kicked, but I really didn't fix the problem or make the horse better. So by what I think is if you're doing that, you need to grow and you need to look at the big picture and really understand, you know what? My horse shouldn't run away and shouldn't do that. So if you start with your horse's butt away from you and you're letting him loose, he still should not run. He still should not be taken off and leaving in a hurry. He should allow you to walk away calmly. And a good way to teach that is carry a couple treats out or a couple carrots in your pocket. And you don't have to do it all the time, because if you do it a few times, the horse will learn. And every time you take the halter off your horse, you reach in that pocket and you give him a carrot or a treat. Pretty soon that horse is going to always be waiting and looking for you to see if you're going to give him a treat. And after a while, you're going to take that halter off. He's going to look at you. You're going to pet him, and you're going to walk away. And he doesn't get a treat. You'll be like, and he'll walk away calmly. But you're going to be setting him up for success and teaching a good habit of him walking away or waiting for you to walk away without ever really trying to train him. He's going to learn it on his own. It's going to be nice and easy for both of you, and you're going to end up with a good, respectful horse that doesn't kick out and worry about kicking you in the head.
That's great. And you know what? It always hurts less that way. And we've all had those situations, at the gate. And the gate, if you don't know what you're doing, can be a very scary place, especially if there's 5, 6, 7 horses out there. And that's why it is so important to, the other thing is just to pay attention, just to be aware.
And again, that goes back to personal responsibility. I always say it comes back to the person. It's never the horse. If you got 7 or 8 horses crowding you at the gate, that ain't those horses' fault. Not one of them is doing anything wrong. They're all being a horse.
Right.
You're not doing right. You're not being lead. You're not telling them, don't come up in my space. You're not making them go away from you. You're not controlling the environment as if you're the lead horse or you're the head horse. It always comes back to us when a horse does something wrong.
Well, that's great. And people can learn more about you at your website, which I've just been looking at here, and that's at thinklikeahorse.org. Lots of good stuff on there. And not only is there some serious stuff, some tips and things like that, but there's recipes on there and prayers and jokes. And I mean, just a little bit of everything. You obviously put this up for your own entertainment as well as everybody else's. And it's got a little bit, it's fun.
Well, good. I hope it is, and if it gets people to learn and, increases their relationship and knowledge and understanding of a horse, that's what it's all about, because that's going to keep them safe. It's going to keep a horse in a happy home, and I like to give back to the horses because they've given a lot to, society, America, and me, and it's good to give back to them. So that's why I set it up, and I hope it helps.
Well, they have to go to thinklikeahorse.org, and you have to go to, I'm trying to figure out what section miscellaneous horse information. I think that's the section I went into. And on there you have a very funny cartoon of the original SUV. And that's all I'm going to say is you just have to go to thinklikeahorse.org and see the cartoon about the original SUV. It's pretty good. I like that. All right, Rick, thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, Clay, you have a great day. Bye-bye now.
Well, thanks again to Rick for stopping by. You can see all of Rick's previous tips just by going to horsetipdaily.com. And on the left-hand side, you'll see a drop-down menu. Just choose Rick Gore, and you'll find all of his tips there. You can listen to them all at once if you so desire. And please drop me an email. I'd love to hear from you at Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. Also, you can subscribe to the show through iTunes or Zune and get the daily tips automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. And don't forget the other shows we have on the network. This week on Stable Scoop, we had the pleasure of chatting with Ashley Bond, the darling of the show jumping world right now, and it was a joy. We had a blast. Ashley's a great kid, and we just enjoyed talking to her so much. So you can listen to that over at stablescoop.com, along with all of the other shows at horseradionetwork.com. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.